So imagine you've just landed a cool gig as an English lawyer and you're off on a work trip abroad. But the job involves helping a count from Transylvania buy property in London. Sounds pretty straightforward, right? Except things start to get weird. People in the village act strangely when they hear your destination. And one lady even puts a crucifix around your neck for protection. Superstitions? Then, when the Count's creepy coachman arrives to take you through the Borgo Pass, he's more interested in shooing away wolves and chasing ghostly lights than chatting with you. Strange vibes for sure. But things get really weird when you finally meet Count Dracula himself in his ancient castle. That's when it hits you. You should put this in your travel journal. This is the original story of Dracula, the most iconic vampire of all time. So, you haven't read Bram Stoker's Dracula yet? Even though Bram Stoker wrote it back in 1897, trust me, it still packs a punch today. But here's the twist. Dracula isn't your typical narrative. Nope, it's what they call an epistolary. Basically, it's told through a bunch of documents from within the story itself. You've got diaries, letters, newspaper articles, even some old-school recordings on wax cylinder phonograph, and the cool thing is, it makes you feel like you're right there in the action, investigating alongside the characters. Alright, so your investigation starts with the diary of Jonathan Harker, the solicitor we talked about earlier. At first, everything seems peachy keen as he heads to Castle Dracula. But soon enough, things take a creepy turn. Harker's shaving one day, and he accidentally cuts himself, and boom, Dracula appears with a weird hunger for blood. That's when Harker starts jotting down his thoughts in shorthand, trying to keep things on the down low. And pretty soon, he realizes he's not a guest at the castle. He's more like a prisoner. He encounters some seriously spooky stuff, like this old dude crawling down walls like a creepy Spider-Man, and 3 terrifying brides who have a craving for his blood. Yikes. Eventually, Harker decides he's had enough and takes a leap off the castle wall into the river below. But your investigation doesn't stop there. Next up, you're diving into a captain's log from a ship hauling Transylvanian dirt to England. Sounds innocent enough, right? Wrong. Crew members start disappearing one by one, giving off some serious predator vibes. Then, the log cuts off suddenly, replaced by a newspaper clipping about a ghost ship washing ashore in England. And just when you thought it couldn't get any weirder, you stumble upon a series of letters between Harker's fiancée, Mina, back in her hometown, and her friend Lucy. Mina's all prim and proper, while Lucy's juggling the attention of 3 guys, including one from the exotic land of Texas. Lucy picks her man, and they head off on a holiday to the coast, where, you guessed it, they run into that ghost ship again. But things take a darker turn when Lucy starts sleepwalking and Mina catches her hanging out with a shady character. And just when Mina's about to dig into that juicy gossip, she gets a letter that changes everything. Jonathan's been off the radar for a month because he's in a hospital in Budapest. But don't worry, we've got more evidence to sift through. Next up is the transcribed phonograph journal of Dr. John Seward, who's basically one of Lucy's exes. So Lucy's feeling under the weather after her vacay, and Seward's confused, not knowing what to do. That's when his old mentor, Abraham Van Helsing, came in from Amsterdam. Now, let me tell you, Van Helsing's a bit of an oddball. He diagnoses Lucy with blood loss and orders up some transfusions from all of her suitors, which, let's be real, sounds pretty weird. Oh, and he's got this thing for garlic. Like, seriously, he puts it everywhere. But wait. Things take a terrifying turn wolf shows up, scaring Lucy's mom half to death, and then bam! Van Helsing drops the bomb. Lucy's been vampirized. Yep, she's risen from the grave and even had a few midnight snacks on some unlucky folks. But fear not, our quartet springs into action, tracking down Lucy to the cemetery and giving her the old stake through the heart treatment. Now hold on, because things are about to get even crazier. Van Helsing and his crew team up with the newlywed Jonathan and Mina to form a vampire hunting squad based in Seward's Asylum. Their mission? To hunt down Dracula's hidden stash of dirt from Transylvania, which he needs to sleep. Meanwhile, Mina's playing archivist, organizing all the clues and documents into the narrative you're following. But here's where the things get tough. And if you're dying to find out what happened next, why not hit that subscribe button for more thrilling adventures? As they're busy sabotaging Dracula's dirt boxes with communion wafers, guess who sneaks into the asylum? Yep, it's the big bad vamp himself, ready to chow down on Mina and turn her into one of his own. Sounds like a win-win for Dracula, right? Wrong. Thanks to some quick thinking from Van Helsing and a bit of hypnosis on Mina, she's able to track Dracula down to Romania using nothing but an old-school railway schedule. So the gang manages to take down Dracula's servants and destroy him for good. But, unfortunately, Quincy doesn't make it out alive. Despite all the chaos, though, the story ends on a high note. Pretty much everyone left standing gets hitched and lives happily ever after. Now, let's peel back the layers of Dracula. This book isn't just about blood-sucking vampires and spooky castles. No, it's packed with deeper themes like repressed sexuality and gender roles. Bram Stoker, the mastermind behind it all, poured his own fears and anxieties into the story, contrasting attraction with danger and desire with revulsion. Take Lucy, for example. She's this bold, free-spirited woman who ends up meeting a tragic fate. And then you've got Mina, who embodies Victorian ideals of womanhood and comes out on top. But here's the thing. Dracula isn't just your typical gothic fiction. No, it's like the OG techno thriller. The hunters don't just rely on stakes and crosses to take down the big bad vamp. Nah, they're armed with cutting-edge tech like gramophones, typewriters, and even Winchester rifles. Plus, they've got a killer team of modern professionals on their side. Doctors, a lawyer, even a cowboy. And let's not forget about Dracula himself. The dude gets medicalized, with vampirism being treated like some contagious blood disease straight out of a Victorian nightmare. Long story short, Dracula still holds up today. It's more like Jurassic Park than Wuthering Heights, blending spine-chilling horror with pulse-pounding action. And the influence? It's everywhere. From books to TV shows to movies and games. Dracula's legacy is immortal, just like the vampires themselves. And if you like this, you'll definitely want to check out this next video on some crazy Greek heroes.